Hey guys, so Bernie Sanders, he sat down with Axios, Alex Thompson over there at Axios, and he got the kind of softball questions you might expect from Axios. The kind of questions you would recognize to a Democrat, honestly. Like what kind of ice cream you got there, sir? Is that a tan suit? What you got a tan suit today, sir? Yeah, but even in this moment, Bernie managed to prove how radical he is. He just couldn't help himself. He just can't. Watch this guy.
With billionaire ownership of almost every major team in America, whether it's baseball, basketball, football, hockey, whatever it may be. They charge these outrageous prices, and it become a corporate type of activity.
My toughest question for you is I'm an LA Dodgers fan. And as you know, they're.
Oh, you didn't tell me that. Well, end of the interview. Get them out of here now.
And as you know, they're in the World Series starting late this week. And they also are owned by a multi-billionaire. Yeah. You, as a long-suffering Brooklyn Dodgers fan, how do you feel about it?
When you're a kid was a kid growing up in Brooklyn, it was like the Brooklyn Dodgers, the Brooklyn Bridge. It's an institution. Honest to God, it never occurred to me or any other kid that it could be moved. How do you move Brooklyn? What are you going to do? In a non-laughing sense, it had an impact on that community. The Dodgers brought people together, black, white, Latino.
How do you feel about the Dodgers, owned by a multi-billionaire, now being in the World Series?
It's not just the Dodgers. What you are seeing, and we should talk about, and we are, my office is going to get involved in this. Virtually every NFL team, every major basketball team, NBA, every major baseball team, who do you think owns them? They're all owned by billionaires. They have all these great boxes, right? Mm-hmm. For their rich and famous friends. Yeah, I'm not crazy about corporate and billionaire ownership of not only the LA Dodgers, but of virtually every major team.
So Bernie wants to take your sports teams now. Oh my. Just can't help himself. You know what I mean? I thought sports and entertainment were supposed to be the opiate of the masses, the thing that allows the unseen eyes, in the back rooms to control our behavior and distract us with this glittery entertainment over here. Well, communists are always trying to take away our joy, dude. There's always trying to take the energy that we would use for something that we find joyous and redirect that energy towards their purpose, towards the state, right? They want to break us down, break down the things that we love, and re-educate us to destroy our families, our religion, our sense of community, so that we only have them to rely on. They want to take us away from the ways of old and towards their new world order. I don't know. Bernie's always been somebody who railed against the millionaires. It's always the millionaires' fault that you're not doing well. Well, now he's a millionaire. So he blames the billionaires. I have to admit a certain sense of nostalgia when I look at Bernie Sanders because I loved Back to the Future. Right? But Bernie's crazy appearance and his crazy ideology, it all combines to be too much for people to vote for him to be the president. He can't ruin America. It's too late for him. He's too old. But that isn't true of his proteges. They come in with a new look, with a new attitude, with a new way about them, and a new way of reaching people that can translate. And in some ways it already has. Bernie travels around. He spends all this money, even though he's so against, rich people. Spends tons of money traveling around, spreading his terrible ideas with AOC and Mom Dami and Plattner and others. And they each have their own appeal in their areas. AOC deceives by having you look at her brand. Who is she? She's youthful. She's approachable. She's just like you. You can understand her. Just don't ask about her ideology. She deflects. She distracts. And then she presents her brand, not what she's representing. You got Mamdani, okay? He won't even answer a question. He won't even answer a real question without saying, I just want to focus on affordability for New Yorkers. That's where my focus is. The kind of smile that you could only really ever see in the past from like a serial killer in a movie, And this guy's going to be the mayor of the most powerful city in the country, or second most powerful city in the country, and maybe the world. A lot of conservatives will tell you that it's okay to have a communist mayor of New York. Who cares? It's New York's problem. It's okay to have Portland act like they're their own independent, region. Not a big deal. That's Portlanders' problem. It's okay if California wants to have an ideology that's so foreign to us, it doesn't even seem like they belong to our country. But it's not okay. And the reason it's not okay is because if you allow a cancer to fester, it will metastasize. This is what always happens with stupid ideas out of California. They spread around the country. It's been happening for decades. They say that there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? Well, there's more than one way to oppress a people too. You can oppress them with nationalized grocery stores. That'll control your food supply, won't it? You could control them if you wanted to put a carbon tax on your travel. It'll control your movement. Most of us can't afford to just pay unlimited, extra taxes on our movement like that, right? Remember when Obama had Operation Choke Point? He restricted who was allowed to have bank accounts and who was allowed to have loans. If you were one of these people that he didn't like, you couldn't have one. Presumably, of course, you can say, oh, well, that's to target, bad actors or whatever. No, man, it's businesses too. Businesses whose practices you don't agree with but are still legal, and you just get to say, well, you don't get to have a bank account. That is not okay. But they can do it to them. They can do it to anybody. And guess what? Biden did the same damn thing. So what do you think will happen when AOC or somebody who's even more aggressive about these kinds of policies than Obama and Biden were? What do you think will happen then? I don't know if you're familiar with the Ronald Reagan quote about freedom is only ever one generation away, but I'm going to read it for you a little more fully so it kind of sinks in. It goes like this. Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in our bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on to them to do the same. Or one day we will spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it was once like in the United States where men were free. You can't vote for these people. You shouldn't vote for these people. They will not give you anything but breadcrumbs or bread lines These people have no God. They have no country. They thrive on deception and jealousy, hatred for your neighbor. This is what they feed on to be able to get your vote, to be able to get power for themselves. This is what it's all about. They want to destroy anything divine, anything beautiful, anything inspirational. Do not vote for these people. And do not give them the fuel to allow them to manipulate you. Okay? Do not be jealous of your neighbor. And if you find jealousy in your heart toward your neighbor, know that they will not take from your neighbor and give to you. They will just take from everyone. Their goal is power and control. If you have the opportunity to vote against these people, please do so.